Welcome to Terror in Tandem, a podcast with over 100 extraordinary award-winning episodes. We're all about finding entertainment in the macabre, hosted by the knowledgeable and lovable Laura and Richard Mathiasen. Each episode, we discuss the horror genre, from books to film to TV and beyond, sometimes even from the beyond. You can find us on YouTube at Terror in Tandem, on Instagram at Terror in Tandem, and you'll always find our latest and greatest episode on our website, terrorintandem.com.
Ooh, that seemed a little different. But I do appreciate
We're super big time now.
I do appreciate you mentioning that not only do we have over 100 episodes now, but that each and every one of them has won multiple awards.
So many potties.
We had to buy an entire luxury apartment complex just to house all of our potties.
Yeah, so many potties.
Golden potties.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm proud of us.
Next to our golden showers.
Goodness. Anyway, hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our second centennial.
Yeah, it's
pack of new episodes.
Been 200 years now since we started this.
Centennial is two. I thought it was one because 1 cent.
No, it's a 100, but we're in our second group of hundreds. Well, however long it's been and however many millions of episodes we've released. Welcome.
Hopefully it's still fresh in your mind.
As fresh as ever.
Maybe this is the first. Maybe you decided to start with the 101th episode.
Yeah, maybe you looked at it and you were like, wow, this seems legitimate. They have over 100 episodes.
I mean, it is a significant milestone, and I'm not going to pretend it's not.
No, for sure. It's been a lot of work.
Stop pretending it's not.
I want to thank the big man downstairs. Anyway, we are talking about...
Walter, thank you.
Right now, the month of June.
Yeah.
Which, so far, hot.
Listen, well, it's not June yet.
Oh, now you're doing some pod magic. They don't need to know that.
Right, exactly. They don't know when we're recording this.
This is a live recording. No editing.
So, yeah, June. June bloom.
Yeah, It is hot. Everything is blooming. I am sneezing nonstop. That's where we're at.
Yeah, it's really a fun time for me, having somebody that sneezes nonstop.
I can't see how you wouldn't enjoy that. You can hear it all the way from the cellar, too. It's crazy.
Yeah,
so,
I got to get some pads up on those walls.
You should. Soundproof it. The neighbors can hear the screams. I am excited because I like the heat. It reminds me of my infernal birthplace. And, summer's kicking off with a lot of good, scary shit that we are about to get into.
Well, I like to be cool, so because
I've
I
never
am
been
cool, that's what makes me cool, is
Literally
being cool.
Not once in my life.
And I have some recommendations that will keep you at home reading.
Oh, nice.
Some of them, anyway.
I like to do both of those things, be at home and read.
Awesome. Well, I hope that you'll enjoy my recommendations as much as I enjoy recommending them.
I have enjoyed this recommendation of your recommendations.
Terrible, you guys. We're sorry. I think we've lost it.
Did we mention that we've done this over 100 times?
I think we peaked.
Yeah. Anyway, so do you want to go first or should I go first?
I mean, everybody likes it when I end the episodes. Which means you go first.
Thank you. Don't make me do math. Anyway, I'm going to start out.
Logic,
I know. It's also a thing I'm bad at. I am going to start with my first recommendation. Chronologically, really it's my earliest. It's also, I'm going to level with you. I am not sure about this one. I really hope it works, but we'll get to it. Anyway, it's the remake of The Crow.
Ooh,
Yeah, The Crowaning. Directed by Rupert Sanders, coming out June 7th in theaters. Now, here's the deal.
The original Crow was perfect.
The original Crow was perfect. Directed by Alex Proyas in 1994. It was a stylish, awesome, visionary film. It was also tragically the last film of about-to-be megastar Brandon Lee, who was only in a couple movies before that. And in The Crow, he was fucking iconic. Like, just so good. It was unbelievable.
The Crow is Dwight Schrute's Desert Island movie.
Yeah, everybody knows the story by now. He died accidentally on set when a gun that was supposed to have a blank, I think it had something in the barrel that discharged and struck Brandon, and he died.
But at least that never happens anymore. You know, we have mechanisms in place. Never mind.
Amazing, right?
Sorry.
Fuck. So, I also, on a personal note, when this movie came out in 1994, I was technically not old enough to buy tickets to an R-rated movie, so I and a few friends found a gentleman on the street, an unhoused individual, and we gave him a bunch of money, and he pretended to be our dad and walked us in and then walked right out, and we just went and saw The Crow, and it was one of like the funnest times of my young life, so it was pretty rad. Anyway, the thing about the remake is, well, there have been a couple of sequels to The Crow, and they were all direct-to-video, and they were all really, really bad. What's his name? Edward, the little dude from Terminator 2?
Furlong?
Eddie Furlong. Yeah, he was in one of them. Oh, man. Hope you're doing okay, Eddie. So this remake has been in the works for like 15 years. It's gone through a number of directors from, Stephen Norrington, who directed Blade, to F. Javier Gutierrez, who directed this year's La Espera, which I think I recommended in a previous episode. Juan Carlos Fresnadillo from Damsel and 28 Weeks Later was going to direct it. It was going to star Jason Momoa, Bradley Cooper, Luke Evans, Jack Houston. I mean, basically over the years, everyone has been attached to this movie and left this movie. It's been described as a gritty, edgy remake or a dark romance or a fantasy or this and that. So when a project changes hands that many times, it's also gone through multiple different production companies that are like, some of them don't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
Lord knows what we're ending up with. That's the thing. And Rupert Sanders is a visually talented director, but in my opinion, he stumbles a bit in the story. In his previous efforts, he directed Ghost in the Machine, and so he has an eye for visuals, and the trailer looks really stylish and cool. It's starring Bill Skarsgård as the new incarnation of Eric Draven, and FKA Twigs as I don't know the name. Yeah, the girl who buys it before Eric does, but Eric comes back for revenge. Anyway, Danny Houston is playing the villain, and if there's one thing Danny Houston is goddamn phenomenal at, it's playing a really good bad guy. So that's cool. It looks pretty stylish and interesting. Bill Skarsgård is usually pretty great. So it's got that going for it. I really want this to work. I mean, the original Crow, it's...
Can I just speak
on
iconic. The original Crow for
Please
a second?
Please do.
That movie was incredible. It happened at a time in life that just hit perfectly, 1994. It just, everything about it, I don't know, for some reason, it captured the perfect encapsulation of darkness at that time. All that to say, the music.
Oh my God, I didn't even tell you. Yeah.
Was Graham Revel, I think is the person who did the music, composed the music and put the music together.
The soundtrack is one of the all-time bangers.
I could listen to it now.
It was one of the few soundtracks I owned on CD. I immediately went out and got it after the movie.
On CD, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, 1994. Tape, I had it on CD.
Oh, I had it on tape.
Oh.
Socioeconomic divisions here, people.
Oh yeah, I grew up a rich boy in my grandpa's basement. So
always in a basement, this dirty monster.
It's where I belong. And no, you're right. It was everything from, 9 Inch Nails covering Joy Division to My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult. It was so good. It had covers, it had originals. It was like, for any 90s goth industrial fan,
yeah,
it was like the fucking Gutenberg Bible.
Yeah, it sort of wedded the like techno world with the goth world.
It is one of the greatest all-time soundtracks, like right up there with Trainspotting.
Yeah.
In terms of original score and other people's content that is perfectly curated for the movie you're watching.
Yeah, and that is, that I think the new version is going to be, I am going to judge it by that.
We'll see. Alex Proyas went on to direct one of my absolute favorite dark science fiction movies called Dark City in 1998 with Rufus Sewell and Kiefer Sutherland. Real underrated classic, incredible mind twist of a movie. And he has a very distinct style. Like I said, I hope for the best. I like a lot of the people involved.
Yeah, the stylistic.
It's a great story. James
Mm-hmm.
O'Barr's original comic is still an all-timer. And I know, O'Bar's been really involved over the years in trying to get a remake done. Also, no, there were no tragedies involved in this incarnation, and that's good.
Yeah.
So anyway, The Crow, June 7th. Hey, Joey 7th. June 7th. In theaters. I don't mean to sound like I'm not excited about it. I just, be clear-eyed, I guess. If it works, if it turns out to be a success, no one's going to be happier about it than I am. Having gone through so many different sets of creative visions, I have no idea what is going to make it to the screen at this point. So we'll see.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we'll both see. So my first recommendation is a movie coming out June 14th called The Watchers.
Yes.
It's written and directed by Ishana Shyamalan. So
this is the year of Shyamalan.
Is that name familiar to you? It should be. It's M. Night's daughter. M. Night's daughter, Milan.
Himself has another
movie and another daughter.
And his other daughter heavily features in that movie.
Yeah. But we're not talking about that because that doesn't come out until I think
I'm just
August.
saying it's the age of Shyamalan.
The Shama-verse.
We're in the Shyamalaniverse. Yeah, the Shyamalaniverse. Which
that's
actually,
fun to say.
With Unbreakable and Split and Glass, there is one. So yeah.
So it's starring Dakota Fanning from Ripley and War of the Worlds.
Basically,
other things.
Who's been a
One
good
of the
actor
Fannings.
since she was like 1 year old.
Georgina Campbell. From Barbarian,
Oh, yeah.
which we love.
Very
and
excited.
From Black Mirror. And Olwen Foyer.
Love her.
She's amazing.
So
she's creepy as
much.
fuck.
I'm sure she's a lovely woman, but she just really plays like scary old lady so well.
So basically what this is, from what we can posit from the trailer, is this house structure in the middle of a forest.
Oh, it's like a glass menagerie.
Yeah. Mina, who is Dakota Fanning's character, she's basically stranded in the woods and comes upon this building, and this, she's found and she's brought to this concrete bunker, I guess is what they're calling it. And she finds herself in a room with a wall made of glass and a light that activates at night. And watchers watch outside the window.
Oh,
and
yeah. They're in a human
they're
zoo.
creatures,
Yeah.
basically. So we don't really know much more than that. I believe that this takes place in Ireland. Again, there's mysterious creatures. I'm sure there's going to be a desire to break out of the bunker. How do they get in the bunker? Who's chosen to be in the bunker?
In the trailer,
how many people have been there?
They showed some scenes of like, potential violence and fleeing and running through the woods and shit.
But it's going to be a mysterious until it's not. I think it looks great. I really like the style of it. Mostly women are in this bunker as well. I think there's one man.
One dude. Yeah.
What's it all about?
Alfie.
I think it'll be really interesting to see. And, M. Night Shyamalan is definitely an influence behind this, but I do like there is a website out there that puts together color bands for the style of film. And when she's out in the forest, it's very, turquoise and blue and
absolutely
gray tones. And then when she's inside the structure, it's very like golden and, sort of yellow.
Based on the trailer alone, it's very clear that Ashana has her father's eye for cinematography, for framing, for color. M. Night, I think sometimes he can get a little too ambitious. He always swings big. Doesn't always connect, but when it does, man, it's genre defining. And I'm this year we got to see Zelda Williams's
so great.
Lisa Frankenstein, which was so much fun. I am all for watching the children of creatives that have really impacted me in my life starting to do their own thing and seeing where they go. It's very exciting.
And it's based on a book by A.M. Shine. This is Ashana's directorial debut. It's a pretty big one. The only thing that I'm going to give pause to my excitement is that it is rated PG-13. So...
that can still work if it's a psychological. We actually did a Now Classic Platinum Sent into Space by NASA episode on PG-13
it's in the time
horror.
capsule of life.
It is, yeah. It's on. They're just launching a new Voyager with a golden record, and we're on it.
Exactly. We have a property on Mars.
Yeah, Carl Sagan is spinning in his grave.
But on that contact thing,
billions of times
he's spinning on that circular axis.
No offense, Dr. Sagan. I love you. You are my hero.
Yeah, I'm sure he's really plugged into
big
our
listener,
podcast.
Dr. Sagan. I put a mic down into his coffin.
From the beyond.
Yeah.
We
have
claim it in their intro.
been very clear about that from episode
Come
1,
on, people. From the beyond. You'll hear this whether you're alive
How many
or dead.
times? There are ghosts all around us.
Exactly.
We're actually dead.
Speaking of which, I have to go to some of my fallen family members' graves and put those headphones on for the latest episode. They haven't heard the 100th yet.
Fallen.
So The Watchers, June 14th. Check it out.
Give it a watch.
Let's take a quick break.
Let's do that. Ooh, never peed so much in my life. Anyway.
You're up.
Oh, it's my turn. Good. So sorry about last one. I know I may have seen a little schlumpy about it, but this one got all my enthusiasm. I am very excited about directing duos Veronica Franz and Severin Fiala's next effort, The Devil's Bath, which, side note, incredible title. Incredible title. I know it's not about the swampy, sulfuric, brimstone-laced bathwater left behind when old Scratch gets out of the tub, but
that's too bad.
I am thinking about it.
You know, the devil could probably make quite a bit of money on OnlyFans by selling his bathwater.
You know, it turns out, I just read a whole article about that. That actually cost the creator money to do because PayPal held up her... Anyway. So... The Devil's Bath, coming from the Austrian duo I just mentioned. They are the acclaimed directing duo behind the original Goodnight Mommy. And yeah, I just downloaded it. It's ready to go. It's my next watch.
Awesome.
Unless someone might have plans otherwise. I don't know. Anyway, that's a future topic. Anyway, they directed Goodnight Mommy, which I am about to watch at some point. They also directed a movie I did watch called The Lodge, which I am deeply in love with, starring Riley Cogue, Defender of Graceland.
I know.
And
she won.
Yeah. Having been to Graceland myself, first off, it's incredible, and it's also deeply sad. But good on Riley Cogue for saving that from fucking venture capitalist goons.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Dollyland can make it. Graceland should make it.
Absolutely.
Dollywood.
Don't give up on the Lisa Marie.
Someday.
I am really much looking forward to The Devil's Bath. This is coming out on June 28th on our beloved Shudder. Now, as I mentioned, they directed The Lodge, fantastic slow burn movie, and this looks like another slow burn psychological, honestly, torture fest. It looks like a real tough movie, but I am very excited about it. So it's a period piece that takes place in Austria in the 18th century, and even though it takes place about 100 years after The Witch did, it kind of reminds me of that. There's a lot of religious Catholicism and religious fervor, and it's about this young woman who I don't want to give too much away, and the trailer is kind of esoteric, but it is based on an actual phenomenon that happened. So this woman wants to kill herself, but because suicide is a mortal sin in the eyes of the Catholic Church, which to any non-Catholics out there, first off, congrats. Second, it means you go straight to hell. Any other sin you commit, as long as you recant that sin and you repent and say a bunch of Hail Marys or whatever, you can be forgiven and still go to heaven, including murder. Suicide, though, straight to hell, because you just killed yourself. You don't have a chance to say, I didn't mean it, I was really sorry. So a really fun workaround that people got to, because they couldn't kill themselves, is they would murder someone, then intentionally get caught, be found guilty, and executed. That way, in between murdering somebody and being killed for it, they could repent their sins and still guarantee that they'd go to heaven, even though they just killed somebody for this exact purpose.
Yeah, like suicide by cop, too. Is
exactly,
loophole.
Very, very similar thing. So, yikes. That's where we're starting with this movie.
Wow,
so,
such a light and enjoyable song.
I know. So it does follow a young woman who, spoiler alert, does that exact thing. And the directors are very upfront. There's a quote right at the front of all the marketing and promotion for this that goes, "As my troubles left me weary of this life, it came to me to commit a murder." As you do. I am very interested in this. The duo has proven in all of their movies so far that they are masters of pacing. They really, really know just how to pace a movie so that it has that unmatchable build-up to a bombastic ending that just leaves you reeling, and but not so much that you're bored.
Yeah.
That's a very thin line to walk. If you're telling a deliberately paced story, it can be really easy for sections to drag out. That has not been my experience with their work so far. So I don't want to talk too much more about it. It looks very stylish. It looks bleak. It's gotten incredibly positive critical response so far.
Bleak.
Yeah. I mean, it's the fact that I think what makes it so bleak is the fact that this really happened many, many times, and historically speaking, most of the murder victims were children.
Oh God!
Suicidal women who drown their babies.
Yeah, I mean, it happens where
happens
women
now.
Drive off bridges. I mean,
but
not
this
for
was
the horror of it, but
the impetus to this was the Catholic Church was so powerful and so pervasive in all aspects of society at this time that suicidal people felt so strongly that they could not take their own lives, and the only way to escape the horrors of this world without being condemned to an eternity in hell, which, side note, seems like a pretty shitty way to treat somebody who just killed themselves, is to just, go out and strangle a baby. Cool. I love religion. Anyway, Devil's Bath. I just, if you've listened to any of this podcast before, you know your old pal Richard
He
loves a
the devil.
movie. Well, we just call him Dad. But I love a movie that really punches you right in the heart. And this looks to do that. So June 28th, why not sit down with your old pal Shudder and get real bummed out watching a psychologically torturous, scary movie by a masterful duo of the craft?
Great.
The Devil's Bath. Epsom salt. Get that
Just
loofah.
made me think of Jessica Alba. No, Jessica, who's married to Justin Timberlake. Jessica Biel, yep. She bathed in like 20 pounds of Epsom salt.
I saw that.
Before the Met Gala.
Yeah. It seems like that's a lot.
Yeah.
They do say to use like 2 or 3 cups.
Yeah.
I don't know how many pounds are in a cup.
Oh, she had like multiple bags.
Yeah.
Like 5 or 6 bags of Epsom salts.
I'm not good at mathing, but
I guess that's like when you go to those float places.
doesn't Kim Kardashian put blood on her face or something?
Oh, got a blood facial.
Yeah. So like, cool, rich people.
Stay young.
Why not fuck the homeless, right? Just put blood on your face and...
Yeah, why don't you use the homeless to get you into...
Don't give them any ideas.
Rated R movies.
Next time, okay, fair enough, but...
Don't fuck the homeless. Use the homeless to get your kids into...
Hey, listen,
R movies.
everybody won that day. I saw a dope-ass movie, and that dude had some walking around money, okay? Mm-hmm. It was everything worked out in the end.
Well, when he comes back at some point in your nightmares... Don't blame me.
He wasn't scary. He was a totally nice guy.
Maybe that $20 ruined his life. So my next recommendation is a book by one of my favorite authors of contemporary horror is Paul Tremblay.
Oh, yes.
Coming out June 13th. And the book is called Horror Movie. I mean... Paul,
what are those?
Are you writing just for me now?
We know you are, Mr.
So
Tremblay,
nice.
and we do appreciate
So
it. It's not necessary, but thank you.
I'll read it.
Yeah. Thanks
so
for the
it's
shout
very
out.
like it's like a film within a book within a film. It's
nice.
Really it's a film within a film within a book.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I love it.
So I'm going to just read the synopsis because I think I can't really capture it other than sort of telling you the synopsis. So in June of 1993, a group of young guerrilla filmmakers spent 4 weeks making Horror Movie, a notorious disturbing art house horror flick. Only 3 of the film's scenes were ever released to the public, but Horror Movie has nevertheless grown a big fan base. 3 decades later, Hollywood is pushing for a big budget reboot. So the man that played the Thin Kid, which is the only surviving cast member from the original iteration, remembers all about the terrible, darkness within the original screenplay and the strange events that happened
Cursed
during filming.
movie set? I love that shit.
And things that resulted in tragedy on set.
Like in The Omen.
Yeah. And so he starts to remember and kind of toggles between reality and the film world and past and present, and it all gets really confused. But he's going to help remake the film, even if it means that he has to go into this kind of dark place. So it's a psychological, suspenseful, very interesting, mind-bending storytelling device of you're writing a book about a movie that, much like The Crow, had terrible things happen and had darkness sort of surrounding it. And it was only partially released, and then it has a cult following, and you're rebooting this. And the original actor who played the Thin Kid is struggling psychologically to stay in reality and not, kind of recreate the things that happened with the past film in 1993, and maybe make a new film. So I don't think it's going to go well.
Oh, no, probably not. Probably best to just not star in the remake of the movie that got everyone you know killed.
But it's so very meta. It's very
it.
like, like I said, it's a film within a book, which is really interesting storytelling device. It's called horror movie.
And the
cover of the book is like a VHS.
Oh, yeah. It really is a great cover.
So great.
We love curses over here.
Yeah.
Oh, cursed objects, cursed movies, cursed everything.
I mean, I don't know if a lot of our listeners have had this experience, but when I was growing up, like my late teens, like very early adulthood, so like 17 to 19, we did have videotapes that were sort of passed like among us, and we didn't know the etymology or the original source where it came from, but there was one film collection called Davy that was very fucked up, and I can't tell you how many times I've watched it. I don't know who the originator of it was.
I love that. I love that so much. I don't
know who put it together or even where Davy is now.
Holy shit.
But it was so much like a little secret cult.
Yeah.
Classic within my little existence. So.
I grew up in around the same era, and there was always that mystery VHS that was sort of like an endurance contest.
Yeah, it's sort of cobbled together of clips.
Yeah, and it was horrible, and it was like which of your friends would run out of the room and which of your sick ass fucking friends would stay through the whole thing, like me.
Yeah.
There was always that sense of like even the object itself carries power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. The things you do as a young person to fucking rebel.
So horror movie, June 11th.
Nice. I can't wait for that one. I love Paul Tremblay.
So what's your last recommendation?
Oh, I do have one, and you may be surprised to learn it is also what is commonly known as a book.
Nice.
With words, no pictures. It's another Team Tandem favorite, coming from Josh Mallerman, Incidents Around the House.
Nice.
Another great title. This is coming out June 25th.
Josh Mallerman has some great titles.
He really does. Mad Black Wheel is an amazing title. Bird Box. Simple. What does it mean? And then when you find out, it's really cool.
Ocean at the End of the Lane.
Yeah. He's very, very... Also, the stuff inside after the title, also very good. So it's coming from Penguin Random House, June 25th. Now, I am also going to sort of read the synopsis because it's super creepy. So to 8-year-old Bella, her family is her world. There's Mommy, Daddo, and Grandma Ruth. But there is also Other Mommy. Yikes. Malevolent...
Mommy.
Yeah, Other Mommy. Right away, I'm in. A malevolent entity who asks her every day, "Can I go inside your heart?" When horrifying incidents around the house signal that Other Mommy is growing tired of asking Bella the same question over and over, Bella understands that unless she says yes, soon her family must pay. And then a bunch of other shit. But, wow, yikes. Other Mommy, can I go inside your heart? Other Mommy is getting impatient.
Yeah.
All of it, please. All of it.
Amazing.
Mr. Mallerman, get out of my head. Stop reading my diary. First off, as an aside, pretty sure I was raised by Other Mommy. Do you think there's like a real nice mommy out there?
No.
I do. I think there is an unmarked grave somewhere where my real mommy is.
Can you stop trying to find a mommy?
And
you're old enough not to have one anymore.
You have asked me so many times to stop calling you that too.
Ew.
Especially in public, and I refuse to.
I hate it.
Anyway, I'm really looking forward to this for any number of reasons. Josh Mallerman is an extremely talented writer who excels, in my opinion, in telling grand stories on a small scale, which is one of my favorites. I really like when there's something high concept and big going on, but the focus is character. I'm less interested in finding out all of the MacGuffins and lore steps and background and just exactly why this is happening. I'm more interested in watching how people react to what's happening around them and how they adapt or don't, survive or don't, that kind of thing. Josh Mallerman does that beautifully, taking really grand, weird, high concepts, but keeping the focus on a small group of people or an individual so that you are able to relate and really get into it, even though what's happening is totally outside your realm of experience, you can relate to the very human reactions of the characters. Other Mommy, again, I mean, just the idea of being a 9-year-old and not knowing that line of that there are some adults that don't mean well. You know, when you're a kid, you just trust adults because they're older, they must know more, they have positions of authority. And then at a certain time, you start to figure out, oh, they're not all equal. Some of them actually don't mean well. They might be lying to me. But at 9, you may not have drawn that distinction yet. So the idea that you're trying to maybe please both of these, your real mother and this other entity, because you don't know any better. Yeah, you're like, I've got to keep her happy because I want to be a good daughter. I love it. I
did want to tell you that I made a mistake. I said Ocean at the End of the Lane. That was Neil Gaiman.
It was, yeah. He did the underwater
house at the bottom of a lake.
Yes, that was the
That's
one.
Josh
the
Malerman.
underwater haunted house one.
Mr. Malerman.
And to Mr. Gaiman, another long-time listener. He's actually DMing us right now, and he's
the one that told me I made a mistake.
He is angry.
No, he's not.
He called you bloody fools. Anyway, incidents around the house. The title as well, Incidents Around the House. What a fascinating choice of words, because it's such a downplaying, it's just a minor incident. Other Mommy trying to get into my daughter's heart.
Yeah.
To me, that is, there's something very creepy about that choice of word.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to this. Josh Malerman has proven many times that he can scare the crap out of me.
And I did give this one to you.
You did. Very graciously. And I do appreciate it.
So my last is another book. Lots of books here. And this one is maybe a lighter
polished
thriller. I mean, it's not, probably content-wise, not going to be light. But it's called The Middle of the Night, or just Middle of the Night, by Riley Sager. We love him.
Another TNT favorite.
Yep. Can blow through those books pretty quickly. June 18th coming out. And, Riley Sager's a best-selling author on the New York Times list, so it's going to be a rip-roaring good time.
And that's not a phrase you use all that often.
I don't.
Surprisingly
I don't know if I've
enough.
ever used it.
It's weird.
I don't know if I've ever used it. Dollywood and rip-roaring good time. This is really
There's a lot going on today, folks.
Anyway, so this takes place in Hemlock Circle, which is a neighborhood, a fictitious neighborhood,
a place
in
where
New Jersey.
That just sounds dangerous to me.
And
Poison Place.
It's about Ethan Marsh and his experience as a kid. When he was 10, he and his best friend Billy were asleep in a tent in his very quiet neighborhood, and in the morning Ethan woke up to find Billy gone and the tent sliced open with a knife, and Billy was never seen again.
Yikes.
So we cut to 30 years later. Ethan returns to Hemlock Circle and starts to try to unpack and figure out what happened. Billy once claimed there were ghosts that roamed a mysterious institute that does research on an estate near the neighborhood he grew up in, and there are woods that seem to be mysterious as well. So it's definitely like a summer read. It's something that weird happened in your childhood, and then you come back to try to figure out what the truth and what is like happening now. I'm sure there's hauntings or things that bring Ethan back to Hemlock Grove.
That's always my question, because obviously you had the survival instincts and wherewithal to survive in the first place, yet you're returning to the place.
Well, he was 10, and so his parents probably, I'm sure we'll find out, but his parents probably moved.
But you know what
out.
I'm saying? Like, how many survivors return many years later? And I'm always like,
there's a calling.
Hey, don't.
Yeah.
But don't.
Well, usually
don't return. Like, hey, folks, don't return.
You wake up and you see 10-year-old Billy standing at the end of your bed, and you can't stop, and the only way to do it is to confront it.
Or
to deal with trauma.
Or Mike Hanlon calls you out of the blue, and suddenly all your memories come rushing back, and you start stuttering again, and then you have to go back to Derry.
Right.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the only way is through. So I think this is
I hear
going to
ya.
be something to reconcile, but also it's going to be a thriller, and it sounds like a ghost story, and I'm very excited. I love a good thriller. And hopefully this won't disappoint, because if it does, I mean, I'll still read the next Riley Sager book. So
I'm just saying there's room in here in the cellar for disappointing authors. Warning to all of you.
Well,
out there.
I mean, no.
If it disappoints me, sir, I will do nothing.
Will read the next book.
I will continue to support you.
You know, not every book can be the best book.
No, for
so
sure. But this one actually does sound really cool.
I'm very excited to check this out. I think it's a really great premise. So check that out. Check all of our recommendations out as usual.
Oh, definitely crank up that AC, open up a book, pop
Yeah.
on a movie.
What else do you have to do? Come
Seriously,
on. It's
what else?
summer.
We are watching you, as we mentioned in previous episode, and we know you have nothing better going on. Just do this.
Nothing scarier than sweating out the horror. See you next time. Terror in Tandem is written, produced, and recorded by Laura and Richard Mathiasen, and edited and mixed by Richard Mathiasen. Our theme was written and performed by Carrie Denver, and all other music was written and performed by David Hispanic. All opinions expressed on this podcast are our own and should be taken as such. Thanks for listening, and please remember to give us a like, a review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. We're still